And we should be live, hopefully, if everything is working out correctly. What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds, back with another edition of Press Play on Saturday night. I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy.
We got a few topics we're going to discuss, but we will let people jump in and, oh, you know what? You know what we didn't do? We never do your YouTube stuff. or we're talking. But anyway.
I thought you did it.
No, I was just setting up the stream for everything else.
Okay.
Yeah, we few topics. We'll talk about gaming accessibility. We're talking about how you're coping during the pandemic. What are you doing? What are you doing to take your mind off of it? If you're trying to do that, how are you trying to find your little?
How are you finding
your joy, your moments of joy? Yeah, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're doing. What'd you do this week?
Cry.
Yeah. Working in news in general can make you just cry with just real world situations.
So funny, and if my manager was watching this, I did not say any of this. So
all right.
So we're watching everything happen in the news, and all this just stuff happens. And one of the producers, like some video didn't transfer, and I was like, and she was like trying to explain to me, I was like, stop, I don't care. Like, they're like,
you see what's happening right now.
Like the fact that this package didn't, like the old Leroy.
Yeah.
You know me. Yeah. You don't mess up my shows.
Yeah.
But when it didn't happen, I hit the button. I went to the next thing. Yeah. It was just like, she was like, yeah, I don't know. I said, and you knew who it was. Mm-hmm. So the 11. I was like, stop. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Like, we're literally watching, and I'm like, so somebody, whoever's playing Jumanji, decided, you know what? A pandemic wasn't hard enough. Let's throw in possible World War III.
Yeah.
And I was just like, not today, Satan.
Yeah. So far, who's in the chat? We got IMAX, CB Hunts. Welcome back to the chat. CB Hunt says, it's been a while since I've been in the chat. CB Hunts, it's been a while since we've streamed, so you might be right on time with when we came back, to be honest, as we try out these Saturday streams going forward.
We would have been earlier, but it's my fault.
You got a kid.
Yeah, so he, I really like Sesame Street. Like, I've always liked Sesame Street.
Sesame Street's a great show.
But I like Sesame Street with him because of just how it interacts and watching it and stuff. So we were watching Sesame Street before it's time to go to bed because I didn't realize, because I was out the game, famous people come on Sesame Street and sing their songs and then switch them up to be like on Sesame Street. And so like we've been watching and we sing some songs. He knows who Elmo is. So that's what I was doing before I came here.
Okay.
So, this was kind of a crappy week.
It was.
Like, and just, it's kind of a crappy week. I was just like, man.
Did you have any moments of joy? I mean, it sounded like spending time with your son and your
family.
we're
going to get to him.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get to him.
Fair enough. So, yeah, let's see. We got Ty Williams in chat, D. Steezel, CB Hunts, IMAX, and I know more people will come in as we do this. So, you guys know how we do things. Last week, we ended abruptly as I guess we were so excited to be back we didn't think that we needed a battery.
No, we did need a battery. The battery didn't last as long as it used to.
I mean, we went a pretty long time.
Remember, the battery we found out, the battery lasts at least 3 hours. Because remember, we used to be able to do almost all of the video game awards.
No, we plugged the thing in for that.
Remember, we tried it. And before we got and we were like, oh, we almost can get the 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that's when we got that. We didn't even get. Well, maybe we might have, because we taped some. No, I don't know. But the battery didn't last as long. Yeah. Didn't last as long as it should have.
But yeah, we will go, however long we go tonight. We're good on power tonight.
Yeah.
We learned how electricity works, so we're good. Rayshawn K, if you're still in chat, see you next week. Have a lovely time with your wife on date night. That's great. Yeah, there we go. Don't get hurt, Rayshawn. Yeah. So, where do you want to start?
Let's start with your topic.
Okay. A topic that I just sprung on you.
Yeah.
For you to sure.
Well, I didn't even know this was a thing. Like I knew some of it just based on when we do the video game awards, and they talk about like making more games accessible, but I didn't know that this was a thing as far as like making more of an effort to be more inclusive.
Sure.
So
So Elden Ring came out Friday. It's the greatest game ever made, apparently. A lot of people are.
A lot of people are.
I think at one point it was the highest rated game on Metacritic. It might still be.
That's what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah. I think it was up there with like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I mean, it's a highly rated game. People are loving it. Made by From Software,
Yep.
who gave us Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. I can't think of. I think that's all the big ones. Anyway,
What do you mean all the big ones? Those are huge franchises.
Right. No, what I'm saying is, I think I named all their big games.
okay.
I can't think of anything else that they. I mean,
Okay.
they did like Armored Core a while back, but people don't care about that.
Whoa.
They're not.
I like Armored Core.
I like Armored Core too.
I wish it was a little bit easier to play.
Well, there you go. And chat.
Because
check
I
on that.
love,
Pretty
I
sure
love
it
the
was Armored
mechs.
From Software, but
I
yeah,
love the mechs in Armored Core.
yeah. So anyway, those
Those
games
things
are
are awesome.
known for being the Soul series. The games are known for being pretty difficult.
Pretty difficult.
I mean, yeah. And
Have you
people-
seen the meme of Fry, where someone put Dark Souls in the casual gamer thing, and somebody goes, "I don't know if they're trying to trick casual gamers or troll Dark Souls players."
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like I sent it to my brother because my brother plays those games religiously.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
he loves those games. I'm like, well, you're the weird one in our family.
Yeah. So I bring all that up to say those games are known to be pretty difficult, but that's a reason why so many people love them. For me, I'm not that kind of gamer. I don't need a game to just kick my butt over and over for me to enjoy it. I don't mind putting a game on easy if I just want to go through the story.
Yeah, you have a girlfriend for that.
Yeah.
I wanted to say wife, but I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you're
Fair
single
enough.
now.
Yeah. Fair enough. Shut up.
Want to know how I found my joy? That's how I found
That's how
it.
you find it. Yeah. That's cute. Friend of the show, Rich Owensby. I think he might have played one of those Dark Souls, Demon
Really?
Souls. Yeah, because we talked about it a while ago.
He didn't seem like the type of person who he seems that he would get frustrated very easily.
I don't know if he beat it, but I think he played a little bit of it and he enjoyed
Okay.
what he played. But
Okay.
anyway, talking about Elden Ring got me thinking about gaming accessibility overall and the idea of how do developers make games more accessible to a wider range of people. That could be things like colorblind modes for people who are colorblind.
Okay.
That can be things like highlighting certain parts of maps because they're harder to see for certain people. That's also like maybe having captioning in your game, having larger text, all those type of accessibility options that people may not think about. Somebody you should follow is Steven Spahn. He is a well-known advocate for accessibility in games. And he has really insightful talks about how games can be more accessible.
Okay.
A game that we talked about last year that you respected but you hated, Last of Us Part 2. On top of being, not hate. I won't say hate. That's a bad word.
I have a complicated relationship
Yes,
with
there we go. But on top of being a well-made game in terms of graphics and visual presentation, all that, it also got a lot of awards for gaming accessibility in terms of, I don't know how far you delved into the features of it, but there's so many options you can turn on in terms of whether or not you want blood or whatever violence in your game, or whether you can highlight certain characters to be certain colors so it's easier for you to spot all that kind of stuff. You can change the captions, all that stuff is in there.
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, it got a lot of that. A lot of times, people don't talk about gaming difficulty as an accessibility option. Some people have argued that is an accessibility option because certain games, when they only have one gameplay, one gameplay difficulty mode, that's how the developer intended it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up about gaming accessibility overall.
So here's a question, and
Yep.
this is something that I've wondered about myself. We've talked about that. That's how the developer intended it because the developer. So here's the question: when it comes to certain games that are single player that are just narrative driven, on the rails, kind of like instead of open world. So like right now, I'm playing Days Gone. Again for the second time.
Right.
I'm playing on a hard mode, which
When you played it the first time, how'd you play it?
I always play a game normal.
Okay.
Whenever I play, the first time I play a game, unless it's a franchise I know, I always play normal because to me I always think about it like this. I want to play the game the way you've envisioned the game, how
Sure.
you created the game. And then once I get a feel for the game, let me on the second time play a challenging mode.
Yeah.
So is it wrong to say that more games should have a less difficult mode? So like in other words, if the whole point of Dark Souls is to be hard, to be different, to not be a Dynasty Warriors or just a button masher where you just punch anything and you have to have that timing, the parrying, the skill, learning how to advance and beat a certain boss. Is that an inaccessibility problem? If that's how the creator, that's how they meant for the game to be played. I ask that only because I don't know. Because this is something my ignorance and naivety, I've never thought of it that way.
Sure.
I've always looked at it as, this is just not a game for me.
I will be right down the middle on this because I really don't have a strong opinion either way. Like, I really, it's always easy to say I can see both sides, but I really can't see both sides. I see the director's vision as, or the people that made the game, this is how they intended for you to play the game. However, if you want to bring newer people into that fold, I can see making an easier option for somebody. Now, I've never made a game myself, so I don't know how easy it is to make a game easier. But if I would imagine once you've made a game, there are certain parameters and limitations you put in the game that you can either turn on or off to be like less enemies, or enemies don't have as much health, or you have more health. I feel like those are probably easier things you can put into a game to make them easier,
Make
or
them more
medium.
accessible.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see both ways. And I can't remember the guy. I'll look him up. For a while, there seemed to be a push to make games easier for people, and then I don't remember what game it was, what game started it, but I know one game that was known for this was Fez. Fez wasn't necessarily a hard game, but it didn't hold your hand in terms of how you had to find the objects in the game. The creator, you might have typed in Fez game because Fez Morocco.
Oh no, there it is right there.
Okay. Who made it? Phil Fish, yes. Phil Fish, sometimes a controversial figure in video gaming, but he had gone on record saying that he thought games were getting maybe a little bit too easier for people, and he wanted to go back to kind of old school games, almost like, you remember like original NES games and arcade games, they were quarter munches. You put in all this money. NES games, they didn't really necessarily have a bunch of difficulties on there. You just had to...
It's just one difficulty. You
just had to learn how to play the
and that's
game.
what I'm saying. Like, that's what... So, here's what I'm asking. And it's a conversation. Nobody's right or wrong. This is why I say and I'm learning now as I get older. And I have to point out to two people who say this. This may not be for you.
Sure.
If it's not harming you, it's not bothering you, let other people enjoy it. So, perfect example. The guy, Foosh, they call him Robo. He does action figure reviews and all this other stuff. He always says, like, I may not like this, but this may not be for me. I was never a Resident Evil person. I love the story. I played some of the games, but I hate playing them. The only game I really liked was 4. I hated 1. I hated 2. Because I hated the controls.
Oh,
and
sure.
I said, this isn't for me. Because I don't like the controls are not fluid. They call them tank controls. Here's where I agree with it in an accessibility thing. If you want to play with those type of controls, that's fine. Let that be a mode. I feel like those controls limited Resident Evil for a lot of people. Now here's the other side. It goes back to that thing you were saying. A lot of these games were designed that way. That's what the makers had in mind for you to play it and navigate and figure out those games. Personally, I enjoyed them when I did play them, but I hated the controls.
Yeah.
I love the storyline. Now, when they fixed those controls for Resident Evil 5, 6, I actually enjoyed those games. But a lot of people were like, it plays more like an action game. I was cool with that. So I see both sides of it, but I do understand.
Did you play 7 or 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no. I played 7, did not play 8.
And I only bring that up because it seems like the Resident Evil team, they kind of found a happy medium of giving you more modern controls, but still going back to a horror aesthetic in those games.
And see, that's something that I enjoyed with Dead Space. Dead Space didn't have the tank controls. It was more fluid movement. And something that I do now, and again, each gamer's different. I don't play hard games because I played the games for the experience and the gameplay, but as well as the story. I love a first-person narrative.
Sure.
I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. As a matter of fact, the only ones that I honestly played were The Division, Warframe, and Destiny. I never really got into playing Call of Duty multiplayer. I know people love Halo, and that was, that wasn't me. I enjoyed a story. I enjoyed being immersed in this world, looking at the pixels.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't want some game that is so hard that I'm just like it. You ever gotten mad and thrown a controller?
I don't think I've ever thrown a controller.
I have.
I've been at people's houses that have thrown controllers. Because in my mind, I had always, even when my parents bought stuff, I always thought about the cost of it. I was like, well, who's going to buy this new controller? So I don't think I've ever thrown a controller.
I haven't thrown one in the last 10 years.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
That PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Woo!
I had a random story. When I worked at Best Buy, we used to do, the Geek Squad or whatever, right? The Geek Squad at Best Buy, when I worked there, they had like this probably weekly Halo game we would do on the original Xbox. I don't want to name anybody's names, but we would go to a guy's house and they would set up 4 TVs, 4 Xboxes. We have 16 people playing. And I remember he would always get frustrated and throw controllers. And to his credit, even if it wasn't his controller, he would buy another controller for somebody else. But you always knew, if he gets a controller, you're probably going to get a new one because he's going to break it. But yeah.
I'll bring a jacked up controller. Hey man. Al, you throw controllers?
Yeah.
Here's one just for you.
Well, I mean, a lot of people looked at it like, well, you're going to get a brand new one, so go ahead and
That's what I'm saying,
yeah. So I want to talk about some of these people. Let's see. We'll go with D. Steezel says, I used to be balls to the walls with hard insanity difficulty. Nowadays, I like to chill on normal mode. Ken from Chicago, I don't need Twitch games. I prefer a more relaxed game with more strategy. I never cared for twitchy shooter games or twitchy racing games. Let's see. D. Steezel, those 2000s Ninja Gaiden games were super tough. Fans had to ask for a slightly easier difficulty. I do remember that when when Ninja Gaiden came back out for Xbox.
Oh, that Ninja Gaiden. What's another hard one? Oh, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've never, as much as I love Ninja Turtles.
Battletoads.
Oh, I never beat Battletoads. I don't think I've ever beaten the first Ninja Turtles game because I used to always get stuck in the ocean level trying to defuse the bombs.
Bayou Billy.
Yeah.
Bayou Billy, Battletoads, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ninja Gaiden. What's another one? I'm trying to think of all the old school.
Well, CB Hunts, so he would throw other people's controllers, but it was usually at that person's house, so you can't really kick them out of their own house. So you just were like, well, he threw a controller, and he kind of had standbys to give you another one.
I never threw anybody else's stuff, but I'm not gonna lie. There have been a couple of times when I was like, hey man.
Yeah. To go back to Ninja Gaiden though, for the Xbox, when they did the newer ones for the original Xbox or whatever, when they did ask for those newer difficulties, Team Ninja was kind of throwing shade. Was it Team Ninja? Or is it? I don't remember. Whoever it was. They were kind of throwing shade at people who wanted the easier difficulties because one of the the easiest difficulty was called Ninja Dog, which was not anything you wanted to be called, but it is what it was.
Well, see, and that's funny because like some games, Ken from Chicago, I've heard Cuphead is tough as well.
Cuphead is tough. That's a game that's tough, but I enjoy. I guess it's finding that balance of a game that doesn't frustrate you, even if it is tough.
Well, and this is why I bring up the whole the difficulty levels. If this is how they intended it, is it wrong for someone else to say, I want you to make something easier for me?
Sure.
Versus, so perfect example is Wolfenstein. If you reset the difficulty on Wolfenstein to easy, the game makes fun of you.
Yeah, like it changes. It puts like a baby thing on the whatever display. Yeah.
Wolfowitz.
Yeah. Blazkowicz.
Blazkowicz?
Yeah. PJ Blazkowicz.
Yeah. Who's Wolfowitz?
I don't know.
That's somebody else.
All right.
My gaming is going. But the whole idea that I'm wondering is like, and that's why I said, is it wrong? And this is where you get into the whole, and we're not those people. This generation is like, no. I'm asking, should we be intending certain games to be easy or have different difficulty modes? But then the developer says, this is how we intend for you to play it. Because here's my thing. If you have young kids and they're coming up, do you want them to be able to get into this game on a lower setting?
Sure.
if your game is considered like a teen game. But if your game, I'm not saying an M-rated game needs to have like for children, but maybe someone wants to get into gaming and they see this game and they're like, oh, I want to play that. But they may not, like the last time they played a game, the controllers had 2 buttons.
Sure.
Versus now, like here's a Wii controller. This has 6 buttons.
Just on the front.
Just on the front.
Yeah.
Not to mention a trigger on it. So like my wife knows how to use a Wii, and she knows how to use, the old school, N64 and different controllers. But I'm gonna be honest with you, some of the modern controllers, she's out of her depth. And so should we be asking developers to do something to allow people who see a commercial or be like, you know what? Especially considering we're in a pandemic, that it's like, well, maybe we should have made some of these games a little more accessible because people could have been doing more gaming.
Sure.
We don't need to be gatekeepers in that sense.
Ken from Chicago says, I heard a lot of Asian gamers are tough, but players there love it. Not Asian gamers. Asian games are tough, but players there love it and will spend the time to master it. But in the West, beyond a certain difficulty, players will just quit. That's an interesting thought between East versus West mentality in terms of how games are designed and whatnot.
Well,
a lot of times, I think some people, I think there is something to be said. Again, I don't play any type of the Souls games because that's not my style. But I can understand somebody who plays those games and beats them and does feel a sense of accomplishment because it's a tough thing to do that. So I get the idea of that means they've spent the time to master those controls, master the pairing system, learn about all the intricacies of the world to make that happen. So I understand that.
Excuse me.
Here we go.
Do you think part of it is a culture thing in the sense of the games that are popular over there? So like we both talked about JRPGs. Mm-hmm. RPGs are big in the East.
Sure.
They're not that big in the West.
Well,
they're not that big in the West as big as they are in the East. And the types of RPGs that are designed in the West are totally different than the type of RPGs that are designed in the East.
Sure. Yeah.
And so
yeah.
Is it that type of mentality? Because we don't have arcades like they still have arcades. You can still go in some of these Asian countries and still play. You still have your Plinko machines. You still have your video poker. You still all have that stuff.
Yeah.
As well as arcades. As well as you go to Korea, you go to Japan, you go to China. They still have gaming cafes where you can just go and play. We don't have that. That's a cultural thing we do not have.
Yeah.
So do you think it's part of the fact that gaming is more part of built into the culture?
Could be. I mean, a big thing. Geez, we're talking about accessibility. The idea of putting games on cell phones, with the advent of iPhone and other smartphones, it's definitely gotten bigger here. But that was such a big thing in Japan, and I guess essentially any countries where you're doing a lot of commuting for work and stuff like that.
But the difference between the way we game and the way they game, and I say they in the sense of we're dealing with something more or less like microtransactions. Like for over here, Candy Crush was a big deal. And I'm not saying Candy Crush wasn't a big deal over there. Candy Crush wasn't a news story in Asian countries like the way it is over here. Like that was a big deal. Even though we have been playing games.
David Cooper, what's up?
And we have wanted to play games on our phones, but we wanted to be able to play the games we play on the computer.
Sure.
And on our consoles on our phones. Whereas these companies are just making crap games on the phone like Toon Squad or Candy Crush or Angry Birds, and that caught on. They ain't making an Angry Birds video movie in Asia. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like the way we look at gaming versus the way they look at gaming is two totally different. It's a cultural thing. Part of the reason why a Western company like Microsoft has never really cracked the Asian market like the homegrown PlayStation and Nintendo has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. Mm-hmm. Also, I think there's so many angles you can talk about with accessibility. One I want to talk about is you play fighting games, not a lot, but you're familiar with them.
I used to play more, but I played them, and then when I was like, oh, you guys really play them.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, I jumped off when Smash Brothers became popular. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
And for me, like there are so many levels of accessibility in a fighting game. For one, fighting games always have multiple difficulties within them, but also on the surface level, anybody can pretty much button mash and
Oh,
make
yeah.
stuff happen, which is cool. But if you want to really learn and master the system, it takes years to do that and learn like how far a hitbox extends for a certain move to make somebody whiff and actually pull that move out. So I mean, there are so many levels of accessibility in fighting games that it's kind of sometimes infighting with people. For example, the Dragon Ball Fighters game came out. It wasn't the first game to do this, but it was one that comes to my mind. And of course, there are certain ways you can input combinations on a controller to make the combo happen. They implemented a system with essentially a one button press combo system where you could tap the same button and probably get 7 or 8 combos or 7 or 8 hits in a combo. Some people didn't like that because they thought you needed to learn the intricacies of the system.
which I understand.
Yeah, their compromise was even if you do that, you're not going to get as much damage as somebody who actually does it the normal way. But some people were still like they didn't think it was enough. So I mean that kind of stuff that has died down since. But when Dragon Ball Fighters came out, that was a big thing.
My question is, when it comes to accessibility, though, when it comes to those fighting games, do you think it's... Here's another thing, too. Is the accessibility something we're seeing more of because we're seeing more people come into gaming? Or are we seeing more people requiring accessibility because with more people coming into gaming, it's reaching more people so that more different types of people are coming into it. So the amount of money that you could make forces you to make it more accessible. Where before, gaming was much more of a niche thing. So something like Grand Theft Auto 5 that just continues to sell more so than any other game that we've seen recently.
Until Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out.
Never coming. So they have to make those things. They have to put those in because they're reaching such a wider audience.
I would agree with that. I think there's definitely
Like, they're not doing it. Question is, are they doing it because they realize as a company we need to do this? So they're doing this as a company saying, oh, we sold 100 million copies. There's probably, we need to, like, how do we maximize this?
I think that's probably a little bit of it, right? Because I mean, you can definitely look at it in terms of when games get like sequelitis and sequelization of games in terms of accessibility and whether you add microtransactions or whatever it is, you can see games like the Assassin's Creed franchise, they continue to kind of follow that same idea of mechanics and structures in every single game. As they try to bring in more people, you're always going to see these maps cluttered with so many things to do because at one point, people liked that. So people voted with their dollars, made Assassin's Creed Origins like the best-selling Assassin's Creed at the time. So let's do that with Assassin's Creed, what's the one after that? Odyssey, and then Assassin's Creed Valhalla and all that stuff. So I mean,
Hold on, you mean Assassin's Creed Origins? And then
I said Origins.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
hear Origins. Did you sure you said Origins? Because all I heard was Assassin's Creed, and I was like,
Yeah, Origins.
okay. Because I was like, Assassin's Creed 2 is next. And then you
No,
said,
no.
okay, I was like,
No. So I'm talking about with Origins.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they continue to iterate on that thing. So I mean, I definitely think that is a form of accessibility. But I wonder if there are ways. Like, I don't think there's an option to. Actually, there might be people who have played some of the later Assassin's Creed games. Is there an option to turn off certain things on your maps? Because for a lot of people, that can be stressful to see so many things that almost paralyzes you. You don't know where to go in the game because there's so many things
a lot of maps,
on the map.
a lot of maps of the open world games will do have access a button that says only show me this, only show me that, or only show me this. One of the things I think that I loved about Assassin's Creed Origins, and I think that I think was the idea of just being able to view what life was like in Egypt. Like, I think that feature, the education feature, I had never seen that before in a game.
Yeah, that was very cool.
And so that's why I enjoyed Connor came from Chicago. Connor?
Yeah. What about Assassin's Creed set in American Revolution? Are you asking if that happened, or are you just asking about that game?
Because that's Michael's favorite game.
Don't do that.
That's his favorite Assassin's Creed. Michael is the Connor of producers.
That joke has so many levels. That doesn't mean anything to them.
It means something to you, and
That's all you needed it.
That's
all right.
it. And that's
Fair
hey
enough.
man, you asked where I get my joy.
Okay.
It's been a rough week.
That one wasn't your best because I already know you didn't mean it. I know you didn't mean it based on conversations we've had. So yeah. Anyway.
They don't know that.
Okay. Great.
But
Origins is my favorite AC game. Origins was good.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Revelations was my favorite. I love Revelations.
That was part of the 2, right? Because it was Brotherhood and then Revelations.
There was one after Revelations, or
Because
one
that
before
was with
Brotherhood.
Ezio.
Yeah, and just when Ezio came back.
I only played the first Ezio, Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh,
I didn't
really?
do Brotherhood because I was like,
You didn't play one?
sorry, I meant like spin-offs of the ones. So I've done like 1, 2, 3, 4, but like I didn't play Brotherhood or Revelations.
Oh, so you never went back to Ezio. Once
No.
you played Ezio the first time, you had Enzio. No, Altair. So you only started. So Altair's the first one.
Uh-huh.
He was the 1st. Then it was Enzio. Was
No,
it
Ezio.
Ezio? It's Ezio.
Yeah.
He's the one. That's the Italian one, right?
Yep.
Altair was.
He came back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Revelations.
I
Yeah.
read the story, but I never played it.
So for me, I like Bayek. Altair was my favorite assassin. I loved Revelations.
Altair. Well, you know what? Go ahead, finish it. I don't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
My thing with Altair was he was so basic in the first one, but I heard he got better in Revelation, so I
Yes.
probably need to go back, and he probably had more character growth. But that first one, it was just, Altair, you're boring.
Well, I mean, but also that was the first one where they were just figuring it out. Like
Sure.
the whole point of you loved it for the story, but a lot of people were like the game mechanics was something we had never seen before because the game matched the trailer. And how many times have we seen a movie trailer for a game, and the fact that he was able to blend in with the crowd, I think that, the jumping off the balconies.
Yeah.
Revelations was my favorite because I'm a history buff, and the fact that they were able to make people care about the Byzantine Empire, I was like, are you serious? Like, I would go on and I would see message boards, and I would see people talking about did you know such and such Constantinople? And I'm like, are we serious having this conversation in a video game? That blew my mind because I had not seen so many people play a video game and then go out and research and like those two communities combining. And then it made you think. And then you had to sit back and realize, oh, snap. They had to research this to put this in the game. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's one of those things that I enjoyed. To me, I would like if more games had that. So, like, perfect example. You're playing Wolfenstein, and people were like, oh, no, it's not right to kill the Nazis or whatever. And they were like, we kill Nazis in this game. Like, have a side part that says, here's why Nazis are bad. Mm-hmm. Have a link to the Auschwitz Museum, the National Holocaust Museum, or when you're playing, like somebody said, Assassin's Creed Origins. The fact that Bayek was Egyptian and a person of color meant a lot to a lot of people, but the fact that you were able to go into the Egypt setting and just learn about, like, I do wish a lot of games had those type of things in them.
Yeah.
So like when Starfield comes out and they start talking about the science of space travel, put in a map of the solar system to allow people to see where this Andromeda system may be. And I bring that up because of Mass Effect. But like, put some of that stuff in the game.
Yeah.
Allow the educational benefits, because we could be educating a whole generation who may take this game. Because just imagine if somebody plays one of these Assassin's Creed games that is like, I like history. And they become an anthropologist. Or I like history. I became a teacher because I enjoyed this subject so much.
Topic not for tonight, but definitely when we could do like education in video games. Mm-hmm. I think we could do that topic.
Oh, yeah.
One time. So that's kind of it for accessibility. We can get to your topic.
Oh, man, we could talk about accessibility. I didn't know this is where you were going. I didn't, because to me, when you were talking about...
So when I said it, what did you think?
I thought you were talking about, there was a young man that was nominated for accessibility in video games, and I cannot remember his name, but he's paralyzed, and he's, I want to say from the neck down, but I'm not sure. I just saw the blurb, and he was recognized for accessibility in gaming as far as
White kid?
Yeah.
Steven Spawn.
Is that who he is?
Yeah.
So I saw him, and I thought you were, because I don't know about, like, remember we watched the Video Game Awards, and they had the different controllers for different people. Mm-hmm. I've only seen the controllers. Mm-hmm. I don't know how those controllers work. Sure. And so I didn't know. That's why I was like, this is your expertise. Yeah, I can talk about that for forever, because I love those aspects of the game. Like going in, like a special feature, whether you unlock it once you play it, or there's just open as soon as you play the game. Hey, would you like to tour? Like, perfect example. If you're playing Halo, explain what a Halo ring is. That's an actual science fiction term that they got this idea from a writer. These Halo rings are actually something people have theorized to create. Like, explain how much energy it would take. What kind of... We saw a Halo ring in The Mandalorian, season 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you guys will see that one of these days.
I find that shit.
Yeah, whenever you find that card, you'll see that review.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love that aspect of educational features in video games, because one, screw you people who are like video games aren't worth anything because the pandemic happening. Who came to us? Who run the world? Nerds.
Anyway,
who run this mother? Nerds.
Get to your topic, sir.
So we were talking about. We always do this in the show. Sometimes we do it at the beginning, sometimes we do it at the end. What got you through the week? We're still in the middle of a pandemic. We're at level 3 in the pandemic, for those of us who have made it. Right now, we're trying to make it through World War III. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but, prayers out there to the Ukrainians out there. What got you through the pandemic? What have you adapted? Have you played more video games, read comics? What nerdy thing kind of kept you from losing your mind with having to work during this? People have lost loved ones. People have had loved ones get infected. You've had to deal with it in your family. I've had to deal with mine. What were those things that you, the book of Jim Jordan.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you guys and girls have done to get through the pandemic? What are some of the things that have helped you?
For me, it may not look at it with my tum-tum, but I actually have gotten exercise more. In terms of just walking more out in my neighborhood for like longer stretches of time and listening to more podcasts and stuff. I've found that as a way to kind of de-stress from taking in news all the time. You guys know I do work in Charlotte now, but I still live in Columbia. Well, technically Blythewood, but whatever. So, I had like an hour and change drive each way and up. So I kind of use that time to de-stress and listen to more kind of like nerdy podcasts and different stuff like that.
Okay.
So I've kind of, I guess, found ways to de-stress and declutter outside of the news world for me.
For me, it was reading. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to put the link in there. So if you have a local library, I think all of them allow you to have access to this. It's the Hoopla app. Basically, it's free because I have a library card for me here in Richland County. This allows you to read comics, stream television shows, movies. I do believe they have some podcasts. I'm not sure, but so here's our Richland County Library. I'll put this link in here. So I have...
Why are you putting the Richland County link in there?
So they can see like...
Oh, what kind of stuff you can get?
Yeah, so like...
Okay.
So
Fair
like
enough.
the Hoopla app that's the website. There's an app that allows you, and this is the website. So here's the library link. So you can either, they have the option of having the book or the ebook. For me, the library recently is something that I've gotten back into. For me, the library has been a source of, before the pandemic, during my lunch break, what I would do is I would go to the library during my lunch break to just decompress. I'd walk around, I would just sit down and I would just read a book, and then I'd go back to work. And it was a really good, now when the pandemic happened, the library was closed, I've been able to go back and pick up books. That has been a big thing for me. So if you have a library, this allows you to have access to the Hoopla app and allows you to not actually have to buy stuff to actually enjoy. So you let me caught up on reading, comic books, just books in general, movies.
Big Brad 85 said he wrote a light novel. That's cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a lot of determination and effort.
The other thing for me was I got back into action figure collecting because I'd gotten away from it for a while, and it was something that I thought was, I don't want to say childish, but I was I kind of outgrew it. So I did not like the Black Widow movie, but I do like Black Widow, the character. I love her character. So this is normally $40 when the movie came out, $20 at Best Buy.
There you go.
If I picked it up. So I bought this. I forgot I bought this.
And this is the thing that you tweeted, right?
This is the thing I
Recently?
tweeted.
Yeah.
So this is Paz Vizsla. This is so they have a carbonized, so I didn't buy the original when it came out. I didn't buy Paz when it first came out because it was on the red back. It was part of the red wave. But I love these new boxes, and I love the way he looks carbonized. You can hold it.
Oh.
Don't open it.
Oh, all right.
I will open that one. But
Okay.
But
Cool.
So
Show it to
before,
the audience.
so before when I used to buy action figures, I would buy. I bought stuff to flip, or I bought them when they were on sale. So like I bought 2 of these, sold one, kept this one because I really enjoyed Titanfall 2. I really did, and I went back and forth between an in-box collector to open box collector, and I'm kind of like now. It depends on the figure. So like, I bought this because I needed to hit like $35 in shipping, so I bought it's always good to have like an army builder. Hadn't took him out of the box. He's part of the set. These 2 are part of the set. I'll open those. It's from Michael's baby mama. And then I did take this out of the box because I enjoyed.
You're abusive.
I am.
Yes.
I loved, and this is my white woman with her fist in the air, Black Power, because the Brits gave us freedom first. So Captain Carter, I actually took this one out of the package because I loved that episode in What If. I loved that Captain Carter, and I loved her figure for various reasons. So for me, I got back into collecting.
I've started collecting more, and not even, I mean, there are figures, but it's not necessarily like as if I was buying them piecemeal in boxes, but it's more like special editions of games and stuff.
Oh, that's all.
Like I bought that super stupid Regalia edition of Horizon Forbidden West. Why? Just because it was available and it kept selling out, so I figured like I need it. I still haven't opened it yet. It's just been sitting there.
So you bought the TV and the game and still hadn't played it.
Yeah, neither one have been opened.
Sounds like you.
I know. Oh, you're going to help me put that TV up. I've decided.
I am?
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm going to be like, new phone, who this?
Yes, that's fine. I know where you live. I'll come knock on the door.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Katie, act like we're not here.
Yeah, like, Katie, I know you hear me. Let me in, please. I need your husband's help. Remember how much I hated Final Fantasy VII?
Oh, I know.
I bought that
There's so much video evidence of you talking trash about it.
Yeah.
Until it came out.
I bought that. Well, talking trash about the original. I still hate the original.
I know.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But the remake, man, I do love the remake. But yeah, I bought the super special edition of the Final Fantasy VII remake. That one I kind of did open and kind of mess around with. But yeah, I do find myself buying a lot of, I guess, collector's edition of stuff. Now, if it's a Ninja Turtle or a Power Ranger item, I'm more likely to buy a collectible of that or whatever that is. But yeah, I do kind of like the idea of having collectibles just because it goes back to that topic we've had before about owning a physical item as opposed to a digital item or something. So.
Yeah, my wife hates this, but I'm at the point where now I'm like, you know what? I haven't done statues. Like, I have a few statues, and one day I'll probably like take a video and show you all the stuff that I have once I get the room set up. But it might be a nursery, so that may take some time.
Yeah.
But my wife bought one of my first statues. She bought me my original Apocalypse statue.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite pieces. I've always wanted it, and it was Apocalypse standing like this with his hand in his back and the world in the palm of his hand, and I've always wanted that. And there's a couple of them that I've always wanted, but she bought me my first one. I have the Wonder Woman Frank Cho from the Rebirth cover, #1. I have the comic and that statue. But I got back into buying action figures. When I don't own any Hot Toys because I can't afford them. But if I do buy one, my first Hot Toys will probably be, which is weird because I always thought it would be an X-Men or maybe a Batman. It'll probably be Sam Wilson's Falcon.
Okay.
Because I bought the Marvel Select from Disney. from the Disney shop. I bought 2 of them. I bought one to open and one to keep. So like there's because you kept a bunch of stuff still in the package. Everybody has that argument of mint in box or take it out. I'm gonna take out my Marvel Legends with the exception of maybe 2. The Spider-Man Miles Morales I'll probably never take out. I have the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Miles Morales that stays on the shelf. I probably will buy another Invincible Iron Man Riri Williams. Take one out of the pack and keep one in. I did not bring him because I should have. The first Marvel Legends I opened was the Punisher 80th anniversary, and that was a badass figure. I bought that one and I took him out of the box. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, when I come home at night, I was like a big kid because I was like, "Here's the gun here." I was like. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a 40-year-old man, and having that action figure in my hand, and it was $10. I bought it at Ollie's. If you go online right now, that's a $60 to $50 action figure, depending on who you buy it from. I put the action figure next to my bed on my nightstand when I first opened it for a couple of days. Like I was taking it with me everywhere. I was like a kid. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I want to give a shout out to John G, who brought up rediscovered my passion for cycling and skating. I think anybody who's been able to find a way to get healthy in the pandemic is nice, or at least be active is great because it is so easy, especially as stereo. Yeah, I talked about my gut before, but I do feel like I am trying to be more.
I got one
now.
during the pandemic.
So I think it's so awesome for people who are out there trying to stay active as the pandemic has made it so easy to be sedentary. But yeah. Gears of War figures in the package unopened, IMAX says.
Are those McFarlane figures? IMAX? I think McFarlane had the license for that. I'm not sure. But the thing is, I guess this is what I noticed. And this is why I said, you know what, F it. So I saw these people who were like, I like action figures, but I was like, I don't want that one. And I've had like stuff before, and I was like, And then I was watching, and I have to hand it to Robo from Foosh. There's a couple other people, Unparalleled Universe, Usual Mike. There's a couple other things, but what really got me back into it was, honestly, Ryan Porter. I had my complete Spawn McFarlane figures mint condition. Me and you talked about it. What really got me back into it was during the pandemic, or right before the pandemic, Todd McFarlane did a Kickstarter for the original Spawn.
Have you gotten that figure yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't we do an unboxing here?
You know how many videos we have done? Do y'all know how many lost videos there are of us?
I could have swore I brought it to work.
I'm not saying you didn't. We have a lot of videos that aren't up.
No, I thought that one was up.
Okay, it could be.
But because I remember us holding and
For fans of the channel, is there a video of us unboxing a Spawn figure? I don't know. Let us know.
But anyway, I bought that one, and I only bought one. Thinking back, like if they did it again, I might have bought all 3. But they had the Spawn, they had the artist proof, which was you can do whatever you want, and there was another one. I can't remember what the other one was, but I just bought the original.
Okay.
And I opened it, and I actually posed it. I opened it up, and I was like, it came with a comic, it came with a box you could open, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, this is fun. And I was like, they're not that expensive that like, if my kid was like, hey, can I have that? And I'd be like, here. Like, it's not, like, there's a couple of them that I'm like, okay, let's not play with these. Yeah. But there's a couple of them, like, I think it was Sharana, was like, what are you going to do when your son, and I thought about it, I was like, kind of hoping he's into it. Because the idea of me and him seeing the stuff on the wall, so I just took him to Heroes and Dragons today. And we walked through, and my wife was like, what's that? And he was like, turtle. He saw Michelangelo. He knows that's a turtle.
That's cool.
And so, like, that whole idea, I enjoy it. And I buy some stuff to flip. I've taken some stuff that I bought at cheap prices. I don't pay a lot of money for them. I wait till they're on sale. Very few of them that I buy full price, unless it's like this that I had. Like, I had to have that because I love the character, and I love that look.
I know a big thing for you was, and I don't know if you still do it, but like going to Goodwill to find stuff.
Oh yeah,
Are you still able to find stuff at Goodwill?
I haven't gone in a while. When the
Okay.
pandemic started, I was like, the only place I'm going is to work, Target, and home.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know where you people have been.
Sure.
I don't know how the virus gets out. And I honestly, I was only going to those places. And if you had a drive-through, and if I went inside, I was like double masked. I was like wearing a hazmat suit because nobody knew.
Right.
I haven't gone like I used to, but that was the fun. That was the fun. So for those of you who are new, I did sports cards too back in the day. I still have a lot. I'm going to probably pare down my sports cards IMAX because I can't afford it all. So the Thanos that's back here, I found for the set. I found this at a Goodwill. This was $10.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, this was. So this is the Target exclusive Thanos with the glove. It was either $10 or $15. Let's see. The Castle of Lions. I didn't pay more than $2 for this at Goodwill. I want to complete it. I've had people give me offers for it, but I'm like, no, I want to keep it.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I keep it, I'm probably gonna give it to Evan. And I know a lot of collectors are out there like, what are you doing? But it like, part of me is like, man, they're meant to be played with.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish I'd kept my original Ninja Turtles figures. I bought them again when they re-released them, but I wish I kept the original ones. I think I have some original Power Rangers figures that I still have, but I wish I kept all that stuff just to have.
So I'm gonna find the SNL Star Wars toys.
D. Steezel said sold baseball, basketball cards when he was a kid and made money.
Yeah.
This isn't a conversation for you guys, but a conversation for you. Is there a place in town that takes cards?
Yep. There's two places.
Okay.
One is in Columbia Mall, over there by the old Sears.
Final Under Baseball?
Huh?
Is that still a place?
Yep, still
Okay.
there. And my hole-in-the-wall thrift store, the guy still takes them.
Okay.
So here's the link. So this is one of my favorite SNL skits. Bobby Moynihan, Star Wars toy commercial. Basically, it's us. It's hilarious. It's true. But this was my joy. Brian Porter, my prize collection for me is my complete milestone comic books. John G. I know you wish you'd have held on to your childhood wrestling figures. I'm going to be honest with you. Some of the wrestling figures we got now, they look amazing. I don't know if you've seen the new AEW figures or the new WWE figures. Those things look great. But I mean, I got into it. There's a guy, his name is Nerd Zoic. He's not bad. He's not terrible. He's not good. He's not great. He's not terrible. He's just middle of the road. One thing he says at the end of his videos, he says, you have to grow up, but you don't have to stop. He says, you have to grow up, but you don't have to stop collecting or something like that.
Sure.
Basically, yeah. This is what, and I try not to spend that much money. I flip stuff that I do find, and I have fun doing that. I'm trying to think of what else. I don't pay full, so like the Deadpool that's up there, I didn't pay full price. Black Panther, both of those were $30.
All right, so we keep talking about everything that you've collected, but going back to the high point of the whole topic was what got you through, like what have you done through the pandemic?
Getting back into nerd stuff, the collecting, and just the fun of like discovering new stuff. Because I seen Marvel Legends in the past,
Yeah.
and I'd seen them, and I was just like, oh, that's nice. But the getting back into it and the fun of like, so like for me, my biggest, anybody who knows me knows I'm an X-Men fan. Seeing those 90s X-Men, so they're like reprinting or remaking a lot of those 90s X-Men figures. Having those figures or having those, I bought they're on the card back, they're retro wave, Gambit and Rogue. They're two of my favorite couples.
What? Who's the other couple?
Scott and Jean.
Oh, you didn't. I don't. Did you say Scott? Yeah, I just heard you say Gambit and Rogue.
Oh, that's Scott and Jean are my number
Okay,
one.
got
And
it.
that Interloper Wolverine. I said it. Home wrecker.
Wolverine must steal your girl, man.
Hey, I'd have blasted. Ooh. But one of my favorite couples is Gambit and Rogue. And I paid full price for both of those retro card backs, and I may buy them again just to open them because I did not. My wife even was going to help me put them on the wall, and I haven't opened them. They're just perfectly next to each other, and that idea of collecting, that idea of getting back into it, that idea of these things, that nostalgia took me back, and the idea that one day I'm going to be able to show my kid the '90s X-Men cartoon. And then I'm going to be able to say, here, you can open that and play with that. And he's like, like that to me is what's getting me through the pandemic. This idea of getting back into things that make, like, I went to the library and picked up, and I read, like, I've read probably this week 12 graphic novels from the library. And you can have up to 30 things on hold. I was just click, 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 and I just got back into reading Immortal Hulk. The High Republic from Star Wars, just getting back into the nerdiness of it, and that's what's helped me.
Okay.
What about you? Besides, what are some other things? Because I know you love food, and you watch food shows. I can't do that.
Yeah, I do watch food shows. I like to cook. I mean, clearly, look at me. Yeah, I mean, probably a lot of DIY stuff. It's just fun to watch, just to see people who have a passion for something else that I really don't. Like, I personally am like, I don't think I would be into it, but I do find joy in watching other people share their joy about stuff. So if it's a DIY thing or a food thing or something like that, or
so do you
seeing
watch
like people do like outdoor survival stuff, like that's cool.
Do you watch home renovation shows and stuff like that, or is it just any kind of DIY?
Yeah, not necessarily that. It could be any DIY stuff.
Because I love watching House Hunters or Chip and Joanne. I'm not in the shiplap, but I really do want to go to Waco to see, like.
And you got to get in that shiplap.
I do want to see that. I really love Hillary Farr and Love It or List It. I root for David every single time, and I get mad when they don't pick David's house, but I know it's hard to move. Like, I know it's hard to give that up, but I want them to move every single time, because I'm like, Hillary is just not gonna do what she says she's gonna do. But Hillary has a new show called Tough Love, where David's not a part of it, and she just fixes the house that they live in.
Okay.
So.
You got anything else?
I mean, we can talk more toys.
No, I got other stuff to do, sir. Especially since you told me that either people who were in the chat, I know 355 just came to Paramount or came to Peacock Plus. Did Resident Evil or Ghostbusters Afterlife also come?
Something else that just came out. I can't remember.
We're curious, but whatever it is, I'm gonna go look that up and probably watch that tonight.
I got Peacock right here. Hold on, I can tell you.
Oh, there we go.
Because I keep a streaming service on my phone.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wait, I don't have it. Oh wait, there it is. Man, I hope I don't have to sign in, because man, I'd be forgetting these passwords.
It's not stored in your phone?
So when you don't open it for a while, and then they have to like.
Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh.
So what?
How? What?
So that did it. So that happens every now and then.
Okay. I was freaking out because I thought the thing was cut off from the thing.
No, that happens every now and then.
So yeah, we're wrapping up, y'all.
It's reducing social media usage and prioritizing my hobbies. And you know what, John G? That's pretty much where I am. David Cooper, you have to grow up, but you don't have to grow old while you're doing it. Keep playing, something like that. Yeah, Nerdzoic. I like him. He's pretty good. I like the guy who does it. I don't like sometimes when people are like very negative about stuff because they don't like it. I love Robo. I really want to meet him because his energy is like, it may not be for you, and so he doesn't crap on it. And I know a lot of people will crap on stuff because they don't like it. But to some people, like some people may not like Captain Carter because they needed this, and then like and he does reviews and stuff and would rather certain joints or stuff be. But I'll be honest with you, man, he's one of the few people that I've seen who like really, he'll tell you I don't like it, but I'm not gonna tell you not to buy it or how to spend your money.
Sure.
So. And that's kind of what John G is saying, reducing social media usage, not looking online at like some of the negative stuff that you see, and just kind of like, so I've taken off certain people on social media because I'm like, you're fighting that fight.
Yeah.
I can't see every bad thing that you find. I need to see a puppy kiss a baby.
Sure. Two was talking about family movie nights. Yeah. Getting back, siblings all get together every Friday night. That's good stuff.
Yeah, we do that on Sundays. That's usually our Sunday where we get together. So yeah, so Hoopla's on here. Watch that YouTube SNL skit because I'm gonna be honest with you, that's us, and I kind of like, yeah, that's us, and it's a good thing, and it's a bad thing. So,
I'm trying to wrap up.
I'm trying to think of what other things to give resources to give people because you were talking about some of your nerdy podcasts. What are some of the podcasts you should put on there just in case they want to listen to them?
Probably most of the kind of funny podcasts, the IGN podcast, Polygon podcast, any reputable video game site. I'm probably listening to the podcast. Maximum Fun Network is a group of podcasts that I really enjoy. So I mean, any of that stuff.
Maximum Fun. Okay.
Maximum Fun, yeah.
Never heard of them.
It's not. I don't know if it's de-stressing or not, but Mandy Matney is killing it with.
I told you, Murdoch Murders.
Yeah, that's a really good podcast.
Man, yes, that chick, man, she is like, You know who hates her? Dick Harpoon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he has got to hate her. Mandy Matney. She's from Fitz News. She does a podcast about the Alec Murdoch case that's down here. It is wild. You're going to see a movie about it. I'm quite sure Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Adam McKay, somebody's going to get the rights of this.
Yeah.
You're going to see this. Man, she is killing the game. Yeah. Go look up her podcast.
All right, wrap up.
All right, guys. So that's what got us through the week. We appreciate you being here for us tonight. Tell your friends we're going to try to do it again every Saturday night.
Chris24M, are y'all watching Raised by Wolves Season 2? I haven't started it yet. I'll probably wait till it's all done to watch Space Leroy and his family.
Man. I'm still upset.
Yeah.
I'm mad about the Space Snake, y'all. I'm really mad about that Space Snake.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, I don't know. Space Evan really pissed me off. How you sell your dad out like that, man? The whole family makes me mad. And then Space Viking, who's a zealot, who's out there in the wilderness. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can get back into it.
There we go.
I was traumatized.
All right. That's it. We out. We'll try to be back next week, hopefully. Probably around the same time, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm trying to find out where his mouse went.
Oh, that's what you've been doing this whole time?
Yeah, because it'll like do stuff like, see, watch. It'll do something over
Well,
there.
because you're over there.
See, but it won't come back over here. There we go.
Yeah,
there you go. Mm-hmm. Good job, Mousy.
There we go.
All right, guys. We got 2 videos I'm going to try to get up this week. It's not coming down.
There we go.
All right. So, it's good to see you guys. We're going to get out of here. If I can get the mouse to... You see him again?
Man, you're the worst.
He's stuck over there.
You're the worst.
I'm the worst?
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. Much love. Be safe. We out. Not that one. The other one. Far left. There you go. There you go. Good job. Proud of you.
I mean, you the one that couldn't find it.
I couldn't get the mouse.